I don't think you should look at persons' opposition or people's opposition to DSH as being anti-investment and anti-growth, because nobody has an issue with the range development at Black Bay. Nobody has had an issue or raised any objection with the canals development. Nobody has had any great issue with these, and these are tourism, hotel expansion. I'm sure there's some people who have issues with them. I'm saying so. But you have not really heard anybody saying coming out negatively about these projects. So to suggest that DSH is a litmus test for persons being negative about investment in the South is completely unfair. And I mean, if you look at the overall development in the South and the attitude towards certain projects like the St. Jude Hospital, like the administrative center, I mean, you're talking about people coming and doing business in the South. And how can you not have a fairly good government presence to ensure that that is actually happening?
As a marine biologist, I'm not here to talk politics. I'm a conservation biologist. I have spent 20 of my young years working for the conservation of natural resources, but specifically marine resources. And therefore, my only interest, and I want to stress this to everyone, my only interest is the conservation of the marine environment of St. Lucia, St. Vincent, Dominica, the region. And why? We are islands. We are islands. Our entire economy, our livelihoods, who we are, is closely associated with the coast. The coastline determines our lives. And therefore, if we do not protect our coastal resources, we are threatening who we are. We are threatening our livelihoods. Whether you're a fisherman, whether you're a farmer, whether you want a job working in a hotel, in a garage, because, people laugh when we speak of climate change and they say, okay, the coastal areas will be affected. Why do you think the international community is battling to put money aside, not for the coast, but for the entire, all islands? Because the entire island is a coast. And therefore, it alarms me when I hear some people, well, I'm not coming from Vieux-Fort, so DSH isn't my problem. And I tell you today, if you live on a rock on the top of Mount Jimmy, DSH is a problem for you. Okay? When we are hurting the coast, this is where our fisheries sector is totally built on, our tourism sector. And the other thing which confuses me is putting high-rise buildings in areas where they are likely to be battered and totally destroyed the first time a Maria hits. Doesn't make sense. But I guess if it's not your money that you're investing, then you can afford the risk. I know they've asked me to wrap up, but I wanted to make one last mention, and this is because, and again, I don't have all the information, but they're speaking about doing offshore islands. If you do offshore islands in the area they're proposing, the threats include loss of whatever coral reefs are in the area, major sedimentation, not for 1 year or 2 years, but again, I don't know because I don't know how big the islands are. I don't know how far offshore they're going to be. There's a lot of information that has not been provided, but certainly you're going to have severe issues with pollution, sedimentation, loss of your coral reefs, and if you lose your coral reefs, did I teach you well? What do you lose? Fisheries? Impact on your fisheries. So when I hear offshore islands, I'm like, really? Are you serious? Have we heard of climate change? Again, you put in islands where one major wave would put everything that you dumped off there. It will probably end up on the highway in Vieux-Fort with one big wave. Again, maybe it's all right, because who is risking? Who is the one paying for it all?
रिश्ते में तो हम तुम्हारे बाप होते हैं।
रिश्ते में हम तुम्हारे बाप लगते हैं।
नाम है शहंशाह।
नाम है
Shahenshah.
शहंशाह।
Shahenshah means the king.
Okay.
I'm here with the Honorable Prime Minister of St. Lucia, Mr. Alan Chesnut. So thank you so much for joining us on B4U.
It's great to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you. A little bit of viewers who do not know much about Mr. Alan. Alan was actually the Minister of Tourism and Civil Aviation from 2006 to 2011. And prior to that, also worked with Air Jamaica, if I'm not mistaken. Like to ask you, how did that transformation came from being a Minister of Tourism and Civil Aviation to winning the United Workers' Party by 11 out of 17 seats, you won 11 seats. So that's a huge win. What motivated you to move towards that?
Well, I've always been very passionate about the development of my country.
But you can try build Committee Island of course na before la and by DSH project sa. So what about that?
No matter na ya about sa.
Latin
nuni projet sa c'est en phase, I think phase 3 or phase 4 of projet. So right now ça c'est
you about 20 islands of the
oui,
coast.
mais ça c'est pas priority projet right now. Right now priority projet y a delay de SMV4 kay do priority projet c'est pour complete racetrack là.
We've broken ground on a horse racing track, and we're also building our own version of the Palm Islands. So we're building a chain of 23 islands.
That is amazing. We have a mini Dubai with a shorter flight in the future.
We've broken ground on a horse racing track, and we're also building our own version of the Palm Islands. So we're building a chain of 23 islands.
That is amazing. We have a mini Dubai with a shorter flight in the future.